Micah James was 18 and tired of being invisible. His cousin Jay dared him to sneak into the Great Cascades Waterpark after dark. They both wanted one last night of fun, something to remember before summer ended. They expected to goof off, maybe race down the big slides or sneak into the closed-off wave pool. The park was quiet. Moonlight made the water glow. Fog sat on the pool like a secret. The sound of their footsteps echoed on the wet pavement. Everything felt strange, too still, too perfect. Micah dove in first. The water felt warmer than he expected, almost like it was welcoming him. When he came up, he wasn't alone. A girl rose from the deep. She had brown skin that shimmered with green and gold. Her eyes were a rich, glowing brown that seemed to see straight into his soul. She was beautiful in a way that didn't feel human. And her tail, yes, a tail sparkled in the moonlight like a trail of stardust. Micah gasped. Is that a mermaid? Jay stumbled back, eyes wide. No way! This can't be real. She floated toward them, graceful and calm. Her long hair floated around her like a crown. You called me, she said softly. Micah blinked. You're real. Jay's voice cracked. I thought mermaids were just stories. This is crazy. The girl smiled. I am Saari, she said. Daughter of Yemaya, keeper of dares. They stared, frozen in place. Her voice was like music, and her presence was like magic. The way her tail shimmered, the way her eyes locked with theirs. It felt like a dream, but everything about her was real. Even the water seemed to hum around her. Micah rubbed his eyes. Jay held his breath. And they both felt it. This was more than a girl. This was something sacred, a mystery, a miracle. They had just stepped into another world. Saari smiled, her tail gently swaying in the moonlit water. You get 3 dares. Win, and I grant a wish. Lose, and your truth is taken. Jay raised an eyebrow, intrigued. A wish? Like any wish? Anything your heart longs for, Saari said. Her voice floated over the water like a breeze. Micah swallowed. And if we lose? Her brown eyes grew serious. Then a part of you stays with me beneath the surface. Jay looked at Micah, grinning. Sounds like a game. Let's do this. Micah gave a small nod. Something about the way Saari said truth made his chest tighten. Then the first dare, she said, flicking her tail. The water behind her glowed. Race the ridge slide. Bring down as many red water balls as you can. The boys ran to the slide platform. Jay shouted, Last one down's a sea slug. The slide twisted like a dragon's spine. Micah flew down fast, holding tight to the slippery red balls. Jay bumped the sides, laughing the whole way. At the bottom, Micah stood up with 5 balls. Jay had 2. Micah wins, Saari said, her smile warm. Jay pouted. Lucky start. Saari waved a hand. Next dare. Ride the flow wave. Stay on the board. No falling. They stepped into the wave pool. A surfboard floated in place. The water began to rise and churn. Jay went first. He stood, wobbling, arms out. The water pushed hard, but he stayed up for 2 full minutes before tumbling. Micah's turn. He climbed on. The wave hit. He slipped almost instantly. Jay wins this one, Saari said with a nod. Micah chuckled, shaking his head. Not my thing. Jay flexed. Tied up, baby. Saari's eyes sparkled. Final dare. Find the hidden gem. I drop a scale in the wave pool. First to bring it back wins. She held a glowing gold scale between her fingers, then dropped it into the pool. They both dove. Micah's heart raced. The water pushed him down, but he spotted the glow near the bottom. Jay swam faster, kicking hard. Micah touched it first, closed his hand, but Jay grabbed his wrist, pulling the scale free. He popped up, holding it high. Got it! Micah surfaced, gasping. Saari watched them, silent. Fair is fair, she said, though her gaze lingered on Micah. Jay beamed, chest puffed. Told you I had skills. Micah didn't argue. He only looked at Saari and noticed the way she watched him back. Something had started, and it wasn't just the game. As the dares ended, something shifted. Jay watched how Saari smiled at Micah. Micah watched how she leaned in when Jay talked. Both boys noticed the way she moved, the way she laughed, the way her brown eyes looked full of stars. Micah found himself wanting to impress her. Jay started to compete harder, even outside of dares. They took turns telling her jokes, splashing beside her, trying to be the last one to make her smile. Later, Micah asked her, "Why us?" She was a mystical being after all. Why was she showing herself to them? "Because both of you carry longing," Saari said, "but only one can carry the deep." Saari told them the truth. "The one who wins my heart wins the wish. But beware. If you lose, you may lose more than memory. You may become part of me. Forever." Jay laughed. "You're bluffing." But Micah saw her eyes. She wasn't. Jay became more reckless. Micah became more thoughtful. Jay began planning grand gestures, trying to charm her. He made jokes, splashed water, even built her a throne of pool toys. Micah listened to her stories, watched the stars with her, and asked what she dreamed about. Saari watched them both, but said nothing. At dawn, she called them to the wave pool. The mist over the water glowed with soft pink and gold from the rising sun. The air held a quiet stillness, like the breath of the sea itself had paused to listen. "Now choose," she said, her voice calm but echoing, as if the water carried it further than sound should go. "One walks away with a memory, the other joins me beneath the water." Micah looked at her, heart thudding in his chest. "If I walk away, do I forget you?" She nodded slowly, the sunlight catching the edges of her tail. "Completely." Jay stepped forward, face set. "I'll go with you," he said quickly, trying to meet her gaze. Saari turned to him. Her eyes were sad, deep pools of something ancient. "You cannot force the sea to love you," she said gently. Jay's jaw tightened. He glanced at Micah, then back at her. "But I want to." "Wanting is not the same as being chosen," she whispered. She turned to Micah. "I choose you." Micah's breath caught. His mind raced. Could he really let go of her forever? Could he let Jay disappear into the deep? "Then I choose to remember," he said, voice shaking but clear. She smiled softly, drifted closer, and kissed his forehead. The touch burned like starlight, and then, in a blink, she vanished. The water stilled. The light dimmed. Jay was gone too. A voice, soft, sad, and fading, whispered. He chose the deep. Only Micah remained, alone, changed. Micah woke by the pool. The park was closed. The early morning air was cool and damp, the last whispers of night clinging to the ground. A single gold scale lay on his chest, glinting in the soft gray light. He touched it gently. It pulsed with warmth, like a heartbeat. A soft hum rose from it, a song in the waves, familiar and distant. Days passed, and the world moved on, but Micah remained tethered to that moment. He paints her now, his canvases filled with sweeping tales, glowing brown eyes, and moonlit waves. He tells stories to anyone who will listen, of dares and destinies, of love beneath the surface. Each night, he dives into memory. Not just in thought, but into the actual water. The same pool, the same still silence. Hoping. Searching. He hears her voice in the splash of water. Sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's laughter echoing from the deep. He sees her glow in the moonlight, trailing behind the diving board or shimmering through the pool jets. He cannot forget. He will not. He walks by the pool some nights, waiting, watching, hoping. His steps slow, reverent. The air shifts when he arrives, like the water knows him now. Some say they've seen him talking to the pool. Others whisper he's gone mad, waiting for a love that was never real. But there are those, quiet and thoughtful, who believe him, who say they've seen the ripple of a tale just beneath the surface. Micah knows one thing with certainty. Saari is real. Her name still glides through his dreams, and the deep always calls back those it chooses. It never forgets, and neither does he.